if I want to choke it, I just press here, and you look at the link. So it's not going to stop it right away. If I want to stop the engine immediately, or maybe after a few seconds, I use the kill switch here, which is working on the magneto circuit. But with the choke, you just cut some air at the carburetor level, and I can kind of play with the position of this thing. It's opposite that you see in the cars, the old cars with carburetors. So on those, I believe, I'm not quite sure, I never drove one of those. I believe when you pull it out, you choke the engine or the carburetor. Pushed in is opening the airflow. So I think that's the way it works on the cars, but on my case I set it opposite. So when I press it, kind of helps me with the starting, and I can choke the engine and kill the engine. Maybe play with a mixture, I'm not quite sure. I have to kind of look at a couple of things on the carburetor. So I'm trying to show you this contraption, which you should not do this type of stuff, especially when you use the flying machine. But this one, I'm not using it for flying for now. It's for something else. It's more of a ground fun, and that's why I can do a couple of things here. The engine 77 Celsius. I posted a different video regarding that sensor, which I don't like because it gives me errors. So that's a BS type of setup, to have a ring around the spark plug. Even I put that kind of it's not a grease, it's a silicone that protects the sensor from cold air. Now it's still not measuring the real head temperature, but it gives me some indications, and I would say, you know what, is 10 Celsius degrees more than what I see on the thermometer. So I use this one mostly for RPM. That's why I bought it. Yeah, so that's kind of a mod I've done, and I try to show it to other people in case some other people think they have this carburetor. It's WG8 carburetor, and they would like to use the choke. Otherwise, even in the manual it says, you know, you have to kind of put your finger there and activate the choke, or do your things with the choke. But I don't like it. It's kind of a put my hand in that area. I don't like it. That's the reason I made it a little bit more like it's moving nicely, so no problem with that, and it stays in and out, but it's not the nicest design. I'm thinking to install carb ice, like a carburetor heat switch. So I'll think of a system to collect the heat from this thing using a shroud. Originally I thought of installing a pipe inside of this thing, but this thing doesn't get too hot. It's kind of a kind of too cold for the purpose, but this one is warmer. And if I really want to get more heat, I can go right here where it's very hot, and I could use a little shroud maybe later, but that would be the idea, to capture the air before it goes to the air filter, because when you look at the airplanes take the hot air after the filter, no, before the filter. No, after the filter, sorry. So they disconnect the filter box. That's why it's important not to use uh, the system while you are on the ground, because you don't want to grab the dust and stuff and pieces of grass that might get into the carburetor. But in my case, what I want to do, I'm thinking to get the air, the hot air, into a tube and feed it somewhere in here, in the air box. So, but it would require another mechanical switch, kind of with like the valve at the air, the butterfly thing at the air intake in the carburetor. So I'm still thinking maybe there is something already made in the market, so I don't have to scratch my head and buy parts and experiment and waste my time. I'll look into such a system. If they have one ready-made, then I'll get one of those maybe. But if I have to experiment, I may just run that, like I said, an hot air tube. Maybe try experimenting first, fitting into the air filter intake, and check the mixture, see how the mixture changes with hotter air, things like that. So I'll experiment, and since I don't fly this machine yet, yeah, I can play with this engine because it's fun. Okay, Sky 100 on a Kanguk frame.